All right. Well, my name is Shell Brodnax, and I am CEO of Real Estate Staging Association, and welcome to Stager Talk. Stager Talk is where we're going to chat about staging, anything new in the industry. We're going to talk about RESACON, and I have two special guests today. First, let me introduce the most beautiful Judy Weber. Judy, thank you.
Thank you, Shell. I'm so happy to be here.
We're so thrilled to have you here. And then, of course, my heart bestills me with Mr. Todd McAllister. How are you, Todd?
I'm hanging in there, Shell.
Do you have a refrigerator full of Corona beer waiting for you afterwards?
To fight the virus, yeah.
Oh, that's right. We should just fight it. It's like a vaccine.
I like that.
See, we are solving world problems today. Look at that. In the first 60 seconds, we've got a cure. Drink more Corona beer. I know people are going to think we're nuts. People are just going to think. Don't go out on social media and say, Shell Brodnax thinks that you can really get the coronavirus from Corona beer, or you can vaccinate yourself for it. Anyway, so we're going to chat a little bit today about RESACON. So for those of you not familiar, RESACON is the annual convention for Real Estate Staging Association. It is July 23rd, 24th, and 25th in Las Vegas. It's an outstanding event. I think this is our 13th or 14th year. I have to go back to 2009. I don't math backwards, so you're going to have to do that on your own. But it's wonderful, and both Judy and Todd are speakers. So Judy, let's just start with you. You are going to be teaching everybody about branding. And I know this subject is really close to your heart. It's something that you just love helping people with their brand. So tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. And yes, my name is Judy Weber, and I am a business coach for women and formerly a real estate coach for women. But now I've branched out to other industries, but real estate is near and dear to my heart. So about branding, the biggest challenge that my clients and my students bring to me is, Judy, I need more leads. I need more quality leads. I need to stand out. There are so many of us out there, regardless of whether you're an agent or a stager or whatever you are, right? But what they do is they skip the branding piece. So, if you don't know who you're talking to and you don't know really like who your target is, then your messaging is going to be all over the place and it's not going to land. And that's why they're struggling. And so I'm really excited to bring to you, some secrets and tips about really creating your own brand so that you're not chasing down people, but they're chasing you. And it really is possible.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And, I see a lot of people just hit and miss when it comes to the branding. And people just some people think that your brand is just your logo. And it's like, oh, not so. It's everything. And I know, Todd, you have spoke at RESACON in the past about a curated branded look, because with what y'all are doing, you definitely have you've curated your brand, and it's expressed through your staging work.
Yeah, so I can't agree with you guys more. And we're a very transparent business. So we've made the mistakes. We've been down the path. We've done it all. We've screwed up. We still screw up. We learn and things like that. So just because we're large doesn't mean we don't screw up. But I think one of the things that we have struggled with prior to our creating our curated look was branding. And like probably most all stagers, we're just all over the board. We were doing this, we were doing that. We were trying to be everything to everybody. And we were driving ourselves crazy. And once we kind of figured out who we were and we started curating that brand, now people are coming to us because of our brand. And we differentiate ourselves from everybody else. So, it doesn't necessarily mean you've got to dump a huge amount of money into inventory and things like that, but you've got to figure out who your market is and who you're going after. And I couldn't agree more with branding is important.
Yeah, very important. And in addition, it's not just the logo. I mean, it is your logo, it's your look, it's everything, but it's also, it's your policies, your procedures, it's how you treat your customers, it's what you're known for. And I think if people can really hone in on that, their businesses just flourish. Wouldn't you agree, Judy?
Yeah, absolutely. I take my clients through think work. I'm a lawyer in a previous life. And so I think work is very important. Now, I'm always about action, but I think that taking time to strategize is a smart thing to do. And so I say to the ladies, and sometimes there are days when I say, what do you want your business to be? And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, you get to determine who you work with, when you work with them, when you're accessible to them and when you're not, how you operate. You don't have to be at their mercy 24/7. And that's kind of a new concept for so many people that I work with, but it's your company, it's your brand. It can be whatever you want it to be. And on the issue, just quickly about making a brand land, I always tell my clients, you want to hit them in two places, right between the eyes with your messaging where they go, oh my God, she's inside my head. She knows me. Like, how does she do that? And the second place is your heart. There's got to be that emotional connection, an element to it. Otherwise, it's going to miss.
Yeah. One thing that I also notice about a really good brand when they have solid policies and procedures is the customer doesn't fight you as much. I'll give you an example. I also do business coaching, and anybody who's worked with me or heard me speak at just about anything, I always equate it back to horses. I'm very into the horses, and I recently saw a website that was a horse trainer, and they sold horses. So they would find project horses, pull them in, really work them, do a really, really good job with them. And then on their website, part of their brand was just about everything was so transparent. I love that word, Todd, that you used, transparent. It was, this is the way we work. This is what's going to happen when X happens. And it was like a simple refund policy. It's like, you're not going to get your cash back, but time to time you can. Sometimes an owner and a horse just don't mesh. So you can return the horse as long as it's in the same condition, and we'll take that fee and credit it towards another one. Now, who's going to argue with that? I thought to myself, and I know in the horse world, it's just so crystal clear. And I think when you have a really clear brand, it really allows you as a business owner to deliver information to people and make it be believable. It's all the confidence. When you have that solid brand behind you, you're more confident in everything it is that you do. And I think people just have a tendency not to fight you on price, or they don't want to nickel and dime you to reduce your price. Your brand is your brand is your brand. You put it out there, you're confident about it. Nobody fights. What do you guys think about that?
I think too, creating a brand helps create legitimacy somewhat. And it's like, we all start, and I started the business with my living room and dining room furniture and my crappy truck. Everyone kind of knows the story now, and you just become more legitimate in people's eyes when you have a brand and you're more cohesive and you're not flying by the seat of your pants. And I realized that as a business owner, that I'm in a really lucky position to be able to have support staff, but it wasn't always like that. For the first 7 or 8 years, Alan, who's like the third mystery partner nobody ever sees, we kind of started the business, and we did everything 7 days a week, 24/7. We ran that business. And so, did we have a brand? No, we were flying by the seat of our pants, but we were able to produce a great product, even though it wasn't branded at the time. And we under promised and over delivered.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And I love what Shell was saying about making sure your policy's out there. Too many, especially like I say, I only work with women, and too many of us apologize, or we hesitate. We go, ooh, can I really do that? Yes, your policy is X. You set that expectation up early and often, and it's just very matter of fact. There's no need to hesitate on it. And so that's all a part of your brand, how you do business and how you show up, wherever it is you show up, whether it's live or online or wherever it happens to be.
Yeah. And I'm a huge believer in, women-owned businesses and empowering women and things. And I think sometimes when women push back, they're considered, a bitch. But when men do it, they're like, oh, he's a good businessman. So it's like, own it. And I preach to people a lot of times, especially women, I'm like, charge what you're worth.
Yes.
Just because you're a woman doesn't mean you're bringing anything less to the table. It's like, own it and be confident.
Yeah, and it is hard. You're right, Todd. Women get branded as a bitch or difficult, or there's all kinds of wonderful terminology that people have assigned to it. But I find the same thing. Even with me, if I'm delivering some information and I'm just very matter of fact, then I'm short. I was short. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, I was direct. Don't mistake my directness for rudeness. I just had to tell you the way that it was. It just is what it is. But that often happens as well. And I love that. I love women empowering other women. It's just such such the threads of my soul is to really help other women. I want to see other women succeed. I don't like to see other women tearing each other down. And I think a really good brand, it empowers you. There's something about it when you put your brand together that you can stand there at the end of the day and look at it and say, you know what, I'm really proud of that. And you're not flying by the seat of your pants.
When you think about the big brands out there, sorry to interrupt, but when you think about like the well-known brands, just by looking at their logo, number one, it's simple, like Apple, right? Or Nike. It's very simple. It's clear. And you look at it and you feel something. Like Nike, I am not an athlete. Anybody out there that knows me, I might be tall, but a basketball player, I am not, you know? But there's still like that thing. It's like, when I look at Nike, I'm like, yeah, they're dedicated. They're serious in what they're doing. So I resonate with that. And that's what I'm talking about with the whole emotional factor where it hits you in your heart. So, and Apple, the same thing. They just stand for quality and, the higher echelon. And so it's that think work, I think, where we really have to dig deep and say, what does make me different?
Yep, absolutely.
And then capture that somehow in a logo, in your essence, and again, as you show up everywhere.
Yep, absolutely. So Todd, you're going to talk about, at RESACON, your topic is going to be about warehousing.
Yep. Yeah, that seems to be, so I've kind of strayed over the past and done some, like I did curating a brand last year and a look, and people keep wanting me to come back to warehousing. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of, I kind of thought for a while, it was like, do they want to hear me talk about warehousing again and again? But then I'm thinking, it's what's in my wheelhouse. And regardless if you're as large as we are, if you're in storage units, whatever you have got going on, take our ideas that we've spent tons and tons of money on and scale them down. So I think warehousing is one of the things that if you've got inventory, you need to somehow figure out how to make the space work the best for you. And so what I'm going to do is, since we've got 4 locations, we're all different size. San Francisco is our smallest location. I'm going to take what we've done and take photos from everywhere, and it's going to be that, and tips and tricks and hacks and things that we've done over the years, and we continue to change things and bring that to the table.
What I like about what you do, Todd, is like you said, you can scale it to anything. And I'm telling you, everybody, if you're out there listening right now or watching us, if you are going to do anything at all, when you go to RESACON and you listen to all of the speakers, you can take something from every single one of them and take it back and duplicate that at home. And it's so wonderful to have people like Todd come out and speak about this subject matter, because Todd's been in business for years. So it's years and years of data, research, trial, error.
Lots of error. You know what?
Error.
That is one thing that drives me crazy is people are afraid to try stuff. And it's like, life is full of failure, and it's like, we have failed on so many. I mean, my God, we opened up a location in Boise that closed that in 6 months because it wasn't working. We were fine with that. Had a retail store, closed it. We've done all kinds of things, and you can't be afraid to fail, because all failure does is make you stronger for the next thing, whatever that thing is. And people, you sit there and I see the posts in the Facebook groups, and I tried this, and they just beat themselves down over it. And I'm like, why?
Here's the thing.
Why?
With failure, the way I look at it is, I don't think there's failure. I don't like to call it that. It's just the results of what happened. Yep. I mean, and when you kind of recategorize that in your brain, isn't just the results of what I did, it's just the result.
Yep.
It's a lot better to swallow than, oh my God, I failed at something. Yeah. But literally, if that's the results of what happened, now you know what happened. So you can now learn from that and go and try it another way, or tweak something and go back at it again. There's just no reason, for people not to do anything. One thing that I can tell everybody is that if you want to make something happen, you have to start with the first step.
Yeah.
And that's the scariest for so many people.
Yeah. It's scary. It's like, when people go out and get their first warehouse, everyone, comes out and, everyone's watching, like, oh my God, Susie is getting her new warehouse space, and everybody chimes in about what to do and what not to do and things like that. And people will reach out to me quite often and, message me or whatever and say, I'm getting my first warehouse, I'm scared. And I'm like, you should be scared, because it's that little, if you're not scared, then you're not motivated. You're not on fire. I mean, when we have, oh my God, we have moved so many times over the years, and we've always gone bigger and bigger and bigger. It's scary as hell, because there's more on the line. There's more money to pay. There's more
risk.
scary. There's the risk. And I think the risk, and Alan, who's again the mystery business partner, he's, the one thing that he has done for us, he's an amazing risk taker. And I'm a lot more conservative, but I go along for the ride. And it's been great for the most part. I mean, we've had some setbacks and things, but you've got to take risk a little bit. And risk is what drives business. And I think a lot of people hold themselves back from what they can be because they're afraid.
Yeah.
For women, they need to figure it all out. Oh, I can't take that step until I know exactly what's going to happen in every step. But as I think Shell said, you got to jump before you're ready. Otherwise, you'll never jump. It's like wait till you have kids when you're ready. Well, then we'd never have them.
Nobody would ever have them. You're never ready to experience that.
Right. And something that one of my coaches said, and those of you that know me know that I've invested significantly with coaches and mentors. And one coach said exactly what Shell said, where you flip it around. Okay, a failure. It's not really a failure. That's a label, right? Yes. So you tried this, here's your result. Now, if you want to label that a failure, I guess, but isn't that really a stepping stone to the next try and ultimate success? You just have to think about that. And Thomas Edison comes to mind. How many times did he try to, invent the light bulb, for example? You can't stop, and you can't be afraid.
Yeah, it's one of there's always that saying, how many times you get knocked down, but it's how many times you get up. Mm-hmm. And I have I was going to say I have a meme, and I can't remember what the saying is. I have a meme of me getting bucked off the horse. I was like in midair, and it goes something along those particular lines. Life's biggest lessons are learned from life's biggest falls, and that was a big one. That was a big lesson I learned that particular day. But it's the same thing when you translate it into your business. It's that you've got to learn a lot of things, because if you don't know it wasn't the right way to do it, the results are what's going to indicate that. And that just means, it doesn't mean that you stop. Just because you get a result that was not your desired result doesn't mean that you quit. It means that you shift and change gears. Maybe you go in another direction. Maybe you make an adjustment and continue in the same direction. But just throwing your hands up and saying, "Oh, it didn't work," then you're gonna yeah, exactly. Then you
I'm so sorry. Entrepreneurship, by definition, is taking risks on a regular basis. And a lot of entrepreneurs don't know that. They don't like that side of it. They see somebody like Todd that's made it, and they want that. And they want it like day one.
People, I think it's hard for me to, people want to be us. And I'm like, it's large is great, but it's more is more. More employees, more this, more that, more of everything else. And I think that, create the business that you want. It doesn't have to be big, but just make it amazing, and just make what you've got amazing and take care of your clients. And I think when you take care of your clients, that's when it all comes back. And that's kind of how we've grown our business over the years. And we are crappy marketers. I mean, we never marketed before. And we really have been poor at it, but we've all been word of mouth pretty much over the past 17, going on 18 years now. And, we're very thankful that it's happened that way. But getting kind of back to warehousing a little bit, we've recently, people think bigger's better. And recently in our scaled back our facility from 20,000 to 13,000 square feet. And the reason we did that is, we realized that we were wasting a lot of space. We were not going vertical enough with our warehousing. So we retooled and reinvested into racking, and we were able to get rid of that other, 10,000 square foot or whatever warehouse space it was. So just because you go back sometimes doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
Right, especially if you make an adjustment. So did you build a mezzanine, or did you just do racking?
So we did racking. So Ryan, everyone seems to know Ryan. Now Ryan pops up all over the place. We've got 22-foot high ceilings, and we were able to go up to 16 feet. So we got another 6 or 7 feet or 8 foot of storage that we didn't have before. And so we're more vertical now than horizontal. And so we're much more efficient than we were with the 20,000 square feet. So I just want people to know that don't base your success on size. Size means nothing. Just because we're in America and we're conditioned to think bigger is better. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, for sure. I think also you touched on it when you said you were a crappy marketer, but if y'all are very good networkers and you're good at client retention and client relations, all that stuff makes such a big difference. And I know so many new people getting into the industry, they think, oh my gosh, I'm going to go out and I need to get, 50 clients and my head just wants to explode. It's like, no, y'all don't need that.
No.
You know what you need when you're first starting out? One good one. Just one good one when you're first starting out, and service the heck out of that client and make them think you're a rock star. And then after that, in reality, depending on how big you want to be, 5 to 10 regular good clients. That's all you really need to have a very successful business. And at that point, if you really want to go big, and depending on how large you want to get, then you can get into something bigger. But if you're going to have that many clients giving you business on a regular basis, now you've got to think about all the additional staff that you're going to have to bring in. Are you going to need additional warehouse space? So again, there's all those other considerations to be able to think about when you're scaling your particular business. Now we have on the side chat here, if anybody has a question that you want to open up, go ahead and post it in here. We're watching this, and I see Jill has said, thank you for talking about warehousing, Todd. She's a newbie, and she would love to know how people organize and or display everything. Her stuff is in a garage right now. Where can she see the inside of people's warehouses? Well, Jill, if you come to RESACON and sit in Todd's session, I know he will have some amazing photos on that as well. I know we've done some webinars over the past. I can't recall if we had photos of that in, but I'm sure online, if you posted it in like the Stage It Forward group, I'm sure some people would post some photos. But I think coming to RESACON, getting into Todd's class would be excellent.
Yeah, there's like I said, people will post all kinds of photos in the groups, and people will chime in with all kinds of things. So there are literally people starting out, people that have been in this 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever, all running the same kind of business 45 different ways. And so my goal is with the warehousing is to maximize what you've got going on in your space, whatever that is. And we're also going to talk about a little bit of, a lot of people are in storage units. Storage units are probably the most expensive way to store your furniture. So I'm a huge proponent of warehousing. Don't care how big it is, but you've got to start figuring out ways to cut costs in order to make you more productive. Yeah. And it's all about being productive and things like that. And Ryan is a huge proponent of, knowing your numbers. If you're doing this as a business, you better know what your profits are. And thank God, I'm able to have Ryan and Alan who are business minded with me. Most stagers, and I'm going to say 90%, suck at running a business because we're, artsy people over here. But you need to have that business side, which is really, really important.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people, everyone that starts a business, you are a type A personality. I don't care if you believe it or not, but you're type A. And you do everything. But at a certain point, you need to realize what you're good at and delegate the other stuff out, and the business will grow.
It will.
But everybody's afraid to do that.
Yep.
And
letting go.
Us too, because I gotta, lose control over that. Well, nobody can do it quite like me. And, and I'll be honest, I'm not a numbers person, but I don't have to be because I have someone on my team to do that. So it's kind of like you have the staging skills, but you need a whole different skill set to run a thriving business. You do. Right? I'm excited about RESACON. I've never been to RESACON. This is my first time, everyone. So I am so excited to learn from the other speakers on the stage.
One thing that I always believe in, and I've practiced this mantra now and preached it for I don't know how many years, you've got to let go to grow.
Yeah.
You can't be, like you said, you can't be everything to everybody. And, when you are, bring bad energy to an appointment because you're worried about paying the bill or doing this or doing that, people pick up on that energy and you start to drag things down. People want to be with positive people. They want to have fun. Selling a house, Shell, how much fun was that?
Not a bit.
Yeah, so it's not fun. So you've got to make it kind of a fun process for them. Even if you're only staging this one thing, just take this one thing off their plate and believe in yourself and your talents. If people can tell if you're blowing smoke up their skirt or not. If you're in there going, well, I think a sofa would look great there, and maybe 2 chairs are there, and we might do this, you got to own it.
And deliver it with confidence. Yeah, absolutely.
Even if you're BSing people. Yes, and then figure out how you're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
My tip is like the doctor. Think about if you would go into a doctor's office and she or he would be hesitant. And, they'd ask you some questions, and then you ultimately would say, okay, doc, what do you think? And they'd say, well, I don't know. It could be this, but wow, I don't know. It could be that too. I mean, you'd be like bolting for the door.
Yeah, you're
right. You need to be the professional. You know more than you think you do. It's that imposter syndrome where we're thinking, do I really, people want to know that you're in charge. People want to know that you got it and that you can take care of them well. So, and Shell, I really hope your agent made your buy at least fun. I know your sale wasn't great because of the circumstances, but
there was zero fun about any of this situation at all from beginning to end. It was a horrific, horrible situation. I don't ever want to have to do it again. My agent, thank goodness I had her, because I moved from California to North Carolina, and I left. And when I left, my house was vacant. I had it staged. And so Nicole Runkle, Premier Home Staging out in Sacramento, Nick, come stage my house. Okay, we'll be here. I left the state. They showed up, staged it, sent me photos after the fact. Loved it, loved it, loved it. One thing I want to say about entrepreneurs, and when we talked a minute ago about hiring people and playing off your strengths, and Nicole's on the call. She goes, wee! She did. They did a great job. In fact, they staged my house twice. Everybody. So yeah, they did an amazing job both times. And let me tell you, the house was in, just to recap for Nicole's, their great work. Every time an escrow would fall out, because it happened 4 times, I think it was, it would sell immediately. We'd get another offer. Immediately we get another offer. So we had no problem in doing that. We just had problems in closing. So, but now we're done. But at any rate, when you're going to hire somebody, I know for myself, and I am sure the both of you, the first time that you had to hire your first person, I was a nut job inside. Oh my God, my skin was crawling. How am I going to pay this person? How am I going to come up with an extra $2,500 a month to pay somebody to come in and do this? And as soon as I did it, it was like God opened up and just said, here's $2,500 for everybody. And all of a sudden the money was there. And it freed me up to do the things that I am good at. So I know the things that I'm good at, and I know the things that I don't like to do, and I know the things that I can do, but I don't like to do. And I just want to work on the things that I want to do. Yeah. And so you got to hire other people in your business to be able to take those loads off your plate and have people smarter than you in your business doing certain things.
That's the key. You got to have smarter people than yourself. And what people always try to do, I see, is they always try to find someone to duplicate themselves. And we're like, you've already got yourself covered and you know what you can and can't do. Find someone else that is into that other stuff that you hate to do. Yeah. And they're out there.
They are.
The difficulty in some of this, though, is identifying and finding, number one, identifying and being honest with yourself what you're really not good at and what you should get off your plate. And secondly, saying, okay, I need to hire a VA, for example, or I need to hire a bookkeeper. Where do I find it? And that's where community comes in. And that's what I love about Facebook groups. I have that Facebook group, Girls Guide to Outrageous Real Estate Success, with over 27,000 women in real estate across the world. Thank you, Lord. It's a beautiful community where there is no negativity. And we are helping each other. We get referrals in there every day. And so, but that's a resource, and I'm sure you guys have tons of them in the staging world specifically as well, where you can say, I need to hire a X, Y, or Z. Who knows somebody?
Yeah, absolutely. I think hiring staff is the single most best thing that any entrepreneur can do with their business if you're wanting to grow. And it is about being honest. You just nailed it, Judy, is being honest with yourself about what it is that you like, what it is that you're not so great at. Like, I can do QuickBooks. I hate it. So we have staff. Melinda, she's fantastic. Love her. Kick it to her. I can do tech support. I still have to do tech support, but I'm not the best person at it because my frustration level in trying to help somebody, who's having a difficult time, I'm not the right person to do it. I can do it. I don't enjoy it. I'd sooner pass that off to anybody. I'd rather pull somebody off the street to do it than I would want to do it. But it's those things you just have to really recognize them within yourself. And what we do at RESA is every year we actually go through and say, what's going well in each of our jobs? What do we not like to do? What do we want to get off our plate? Does somebody else want to try something? And we kind of shift responsibilities around. And it's a great thing to be able to do for yourselves, and getting the right people in the right spots, because when they're happy, they're on autopilot. I mean, I know I always talk about Felicia. Felicia's our marketing person. She is all things marketing, social media, graphics. And not only that, but she gives so much feedback on everything else behind the scenes. But literally, we tell Felicia, this is what we want to happen. And I say, later, make it happen. And Felicia makes it happen. And you don't have to micromanage her, because she's happy in the things it is that she's doing.
I think, go ahead, Judy.
Oh, no, real quickly about your unique genius, right? I mean, I take my ladies through an exercise. What is your unique genius? If you are a creative, then you tend to not really be like the numbers person, generally speaking, right?
Yeah.
And vice versa. So I think it's important to know what you're great at, and then, go all in on that and trust others with their unique genius to pull their weight, and again, setting expectations about what is required for the position and then monitoring that. But yeah, you got to live into what you're best at.
I think too, you've got to let go. Stuff is going to go wrong regardless if you're doing it or someone else is doing it. Stuff's always going to go wrong. And you've got it's not about it going wrong. It's about how you take care of the problem. And there are so many things that happen for stagers that are outside of our control. Typically flippers and remodelers and home builders are typically behind. They're always behind schedule. Things go wrong with real estate agents all the time that, their clients say they're going to do X. You get there and X hasn't been done, or Y and Z. So it's like one of those things. It's like stagers are always posting like, well, I have to go revisit this. I'm charging them this fee. I'm revisiting fee, blah, blah, blah. 99% of the time, and Judy, you're probably going to agree, it's out of your control. So it's like,
yeah,
so it's like, why dump gas and agitate the agent who's actually, you're one of your best friends there in the situation? Make the best out of what's going on. I mean, we have literally put furniture in a garage because we couldn't get into the house and gone back the next day. We have staged a living room and the photographer's in the dining room and someone else is working in the master bedroom. And then a bell rings and we all switch places. It's about being successful in this business is about being flexible. And when you are rigid and no, I can't do this, there's a fee to that, you nickel and dime your clients, your business is going to die. And agents all talk. I don't care if there's 4 agents in your town or 4,000 agents. Agents talk about who the best providers are and who the crappy ones are and who they've been bitten by. So I guess in a sense where I said we've never really marketed, we have marketed to agents because agents are the ones that are going to use us over and over and over again. So you live or die pretty much by reputation and how you determine you're going to handle situations, both good and bad.
Yeah.
The other rigidity, you mentioned most entrepreneurs are type A. And I think that's what makes us perfectionists too. Because, I was always like, I want to get straight A's and I'm a lawyer, so I'm used to writing formally and I hate misspellings and blah, blah, blah. And so something would go wrong, whether it's tech or whether it's I have a stupid spelling error in an email, and I'd flip out and I'd say, oh my God, what are they going to think about me? But when I just gave myself permission to be imperfect, I mean, it's a whole new mindset. And that's what it takes to succeed and keep going.
Yep.
So that's so important.
Yeah. I mean, for us, 90% is perfect. Because like you say, nothing in the world is perfect. Everything's wrong. I mean, you can have the most, beautiful $4 million house, and there's things wrong with it. There's nothing perfect. So you have to do your very best with what circumstances are that you're dealing with.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're coming to the end of our time. You guys have been such a joy, and I thank you both for coming on. Any final words for everybody?
Go ahead, Judy.
Oh, okay. I was like, "Who will give me time to think?" Well, I told you I haven't been to RESACON. I have never been to Vegas, so I can't wait to meet everybody. In July, and I want to meet you. So don't be shy. Years ago when I used to go to conferences, I'd be like, "Ooh, I'd love to ask that speaker a question, but they don't have time for me, or why would they talk to me?" I want to meet you. So don't be shy. And I'm going to not be shy about the other speakers saying hello, because we are there to serve. We are there to help you. So don't be afraid to walk up to us and say hello.
Absolutely. Todd?
For me, people ask me, why do I go every year? It's like, you know what, even after doing this all these years, I still learn stuff from people. And it doesn't matter if, because in theory, most of the younger people are younger now coming in staging. So they bring a whole different viewpoint on things. They bring technology that I didn't have, or, really like Shell, I have no interest in, honestly. They bring all those things in, and we're all from different markets. So we can learn from each other. And, people are like, well, I have this problem, and I thought I was the only one that had it. And like, okay. And typically what happens is people will have little breakout groups outside of everything, like, let's meet for cocktails at this bar, and there may be 30 people that show up or 100 people that show up. And what's great is just to find out how people are accomplishing what they're doing, because at the end, we're all doing the same thing. We're all doing it 45 different ways, but we're all coming up with the same end result. So I always like to learn from people, and it's invaluable. It keeps you going, and I always look forward to it. So it's money well spent, and it's a great group of people.
It is. I love it. I mean, obviously, I'm there every single year. It's one of those things. It's grown over the years. We take everybody's feedback from year to year. What type of speakers do they want? It's just really grown, and it's blossomed. I want to touch real quick before we leave. Plug, Judy, your next convention's coming up soon, is it not?
Yes. Thank you for that. The She's Unstoppable Live Conference for Women in Real Estate is happening April 14th. In Richmond, Virginia. Just go to she'sunstoppablelive.com. And it's amazing. It's a one-day event, but you can turn that into a 3-day event with only another $100 to become a VIP. So there's only a couple of those seats left, but she'sunstoppablelive.com. Thank you for that, Shell.
Yeah, absolutely. And for everybody, that's how I actually met Judy last year, 1 year ago this month. I was speaking at the She's Unstoppable event. I had major technology issues that day. I was horrified. We uploaded the wrong PowerPoint, so my talk was cut short, probably 25 minutes. I was as shocked as everybody else when I looked on the screen. I was like, we're done. But Judy, it was funny because that particular weekend, that's when I made the decision to let's just call a mortgage lender and see how much damage I can really do if I want to buy a house right now. And I left Virginia and flew to North Carolina to be with my father. And he took me around looking at property. And then I ended up making an offer on the house that I'm in now. So that was my good luck charm. But 1 year ago, I can't believe it. I love it. Now, Todd, let's give a plug because right at RESACON, right after RESACON, the first day is your Shop the Market class.
Yeah, so Michelle Minch and I have, and it's actually our last class last summer was our biggest attendance. We had 24 students. So what we do is we go to the market. We spend 8 hours there. We take you to a lot of our favorite vendors, the RESA vendors and things like that, RESA buying group vendors and vendors that we have found over the years that are stager friendly. So they know what our situation is. We're a complete different ball of wax than retailers. We need things typically on the fly. We need things fast, blah, blah, blah. We need things that look beautiful, that are lightweight. So we take you to those vendors. We introduce you to your local reps, and we put you in touch with each other. And I started out buying wholesale, and I couldn't even buy wholesale the first time I tried because they were like, "You're a stager, what?" We thought you were going to buy a table lamp and a sofa, and we were done. But literally, I went to market. My first year got rejected by every showroom I went into. And the next year I went back and I went to Ashley Furniture, and we saved up $10,000. And that's how we opened our first account, was $10,000. And that was the gateway to us being able to buy wholesale, because in retail world, Ashley's big. And so we were deemed legitimate when we got that account. And so had I had the class now that we teach, and I'm not trying to promote it, but I am promoting it because I think it's amazing. The people that have taken our class have seen their businesses flourish. And we teach you a lot of things that we've learned over the years by mistake, lots and lots of mistakes. So if we can help people not make those mistakes and reinvent the wheel over and over and over, that's the name of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's funny is when you say you were rejected at the market, oh man, can I tell you, I reached out to Las Vegas market for 6 years in a row, trying to say, hey, I've got an industry full of people that want to buy furniture and I'll bring them to you. can you play with me? And they were like, huh? What? No, don't get it. And so finally, several years back, I got a phone call from this one gal, and she's like, yeah, this is such and such a market. Well, hi, yeah, thanks for calling. I was so shocked. And she's like, so yeah, I get it now. And I'm like, thank you. So now we have an amazing relationship with all the markets and lots of different vendors through the RESA buying group. So I highly encourage y'all, come out to RESACON in July in Las Vegas.
It's amazing.
You get to meet Judy, you get to meet Todd. You've got other sessions to choose from. We're also recording the sessions this year, and we're going to record the slides and the audio. So anybody that attends RESACON, you're going to have access, instead of just seeing the 6 sessions that you're going to choose from, you're going to see all of them. So we have 6 sessions each to choose from, or you have 27 sessions to choose from. You choose 6 of them, subject matters. And then we also have 4 keynote speakers this year, which is bigger than any other year that we've had. So it's a great event to be able to come out to. And then also check out, what's your website, Todd?
Shopwholesalemarkets.com.
There you go. It's a great class to get into. It's on day 1 of market. If you're unable to get into that class, you can also go on a tour. If you're new to shopping wholesale, you can go on the RESA buying group tour. That's on Sunday, day 1 of market as well. I'm also speaking at market this year, so come by and see me. We'll put information out on what room I'm going to be in. And check us out and get out there and network and mingle and bring a friend. You won't regret it.
And that's something too I want to touch on, is to come to RESACON. A lot of business partners bring their partners, because what they do is then they will be able to go to 12 sessions versus 6, and they will conquer and divide. So I know a lot of people do that. So if you've got a partner, bring them along, and you'll learn twice the amount of stuff.
And bring your staff. All your staff members. If you can get the time off, get the staff members there, because again, there's something there for everybody to be able to learn from. And then also the peer-to-peer support. I found too that just the stagers, when you're sitting next to somebody, sit next to people you don't know and move around and get to know people, because undoubtedly you're going to be sitting here, eating your breakfast burrito and drinking a cup of coffee in the morning, and you'll hear somebody talk about an issue that they have going on, and you might have experienced that, and you can pay it forward, or stage it forward as we call it, and give them some advice on that, and then vice versa. So it's just a wonderful opportunity.
And one thing I want to say too is, I'm big, I'm 6'7", and I know people, I'm kind of odd. I have this big thing that's coming up, people. Come talk to me. People, I think, because I've been in the industry so long, and kind of like Michelle mentioned, some veterans, we're untouchable. It's like, oh my God, they've got all this going on. Come talk to me. I'm friendly. I come at people with these big giant arms, and I'll give you a big hug. I scare people, and I just let people know I'm a hugger. I'm a 6'7" hugger. So
I'm a hugger too. I'll be sure to hug you too.
Oh yeah.
If I can just say one more thing, the importance of relationships and collaborations. And years ago, I was like, even though I'm an extrovert, I don't know, I just didn't feel comfortable at those type of events, and I wouldn't talk to people. And it's so silly, because relationships is what makes being in business fun, and collaborations just really take it to a whole new level. So I know it may be a stretch, for you to take the time off or to do the investment, but I know it's going to be worth it. I just know. So
it is.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Shell Brodnax here for Stager Talk. Until next time, happy staging, and see you in Vegas.
Happy
Bye.
staging.
thank you. Bye.